Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back to another episode of Train Sim World 2. And today, as you can see, we will be visiting a brand new... Well, brand new? I wouldn't call it brand new. That route was present in Train Simulator 2022, or yeah, it was pretty much released in like 2013. But now it's made its way to Train Sim World 2. And today, yes, I will be looking into that. So we will see what kind of services we can expect there. Well, apart from freight, which is the only service I believe. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see how this route looks like and how well this DLC was made. Hopefully, that wasn't a complete waste of money, which I'm really scared of because that's Dovetail, so you never know. But let's be hopeful. Right, who do we have here? Donke, hello, Hoodie, Luigi Rota, Railjet, Hainam. Wow, so many people. Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Right, everyone, shall we begin? I believe we should. Right, so where should I go first? I believe that's the button. There we go. That's better. Right, so without any further ado, let's jump in. And now, what should I do? That's the good question. I really hate to sit in the menu, but we should probably start with that. So, when it comes to journey, the route doesn't seem to offer much. 15 missions. That's really not a lot if you think about it. Like, if you compare other routes to Horseshoe Curve, yeah, Horseshoe Curve doesn't really deliver that much. So when it comes to scenarios and amount of them, I'm a bit disappointed. So we got 15 scenarios divided into 3 chapters. I believe it's, yeah, 5. Well, it's not even 5 in each. Oh, one of them, yeah, those wet coal burn. For some reason, I got a gold medal for that, even though I never really played that scenario. I don't know what I got that gold medal for. Don't ask me, I don't know. But I do. See, the game is already awarding me medals, even though I haven't really finished even a single scenario in this game. Wow, that's really good. Na pewno nie Hoodie. Oh. That's really convincing. Thank you very much for follow. Spider, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you will have a great time today. Right, so yes, as you can see, when it comes to mission scenarios or typical storyline scenarios for this route, there's really not much. That 15 missions, yeah, it is a little bit of a gameplay, but it's Dovetail. Yeah, you played mission 1 from chapter 1, you played mission 80 from chapter 3 or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But you can try it yourself if you will ever get a route. And I hope you will enjoy it. Right, when it comes to engines, that comes with the route. That's an interesting stuff. Let's go to timetable mode. We got only 2 engines. Yes, I agree, heartwarming Fox. That broken empty mission doesn't look good, but hey, it's Dovetail. I knew it's not gonna be great. But definitely they will have to look into that and at least give that mission a name. Right, let's get back to the topic. So we get 2 engines, which are pretty much reskins of currently existing engines that are in the game. So we got ES44 ACNS, which is basically AC 4400 blah blah blah, whatever that was, present on what was it, help me chat, I can't even remember. Sandpatch Great, there we go, yes. So that's pretty much the same engine. I consider that a reskin. If it has any differences, it's just because it's a signed model. But I can almost guarantee you that it will drive and work exactly the same. Same goes to good old GP38. Yeah, it's also a locomotive from Sandpatch Great with a different skin. I'm not gonna lie, I really like that livery. Sadly, I can't even turn this around and show it to you just yet. But yes, the livery is pretty nice, so good that people that were working on that route at least put that much of an effort. But I don't really see much differences between those locomotives and the ones that are on Sandpatch Great. Obviously cabins are slightly different, so that's one extra level of like changes or yeah, fields where things change, but everything else works exactly the same. But hey, it's a new DLC, isn't it? At least the name is new. Sometimes DTG is special. Yes, they are always special. Like copy-paste specialists. It's like Call of Duty. It didn't change since like 2001, but it's still a new Call of Duty, isn't it? Every year. Right, let's go back for a second. So when it comes to timetable scenarios, it's a bit better than story missions. We got 77 split across those 2 locomotives, and I can tell you there is much more for AC 4400 or whatever that model is than it is for GP38, which has like a handful of missions. So yeah, not really that much when it comes to scenarios. I just hope that some of them will be a true perils in like all that DTG copy-paste mission scheme that they always do. So that's what I'm hoping, that there will be some really good scenarios that are really worth that cutoff to like 70 missions or something, because there's really not that much for the price of like what, £25, which is pretty much the price of full release of the game. At least in case of Train Sim World 2, which pretty much costed the same for base game. Heartwarming Fox, yes, it's exactly the same engine models. They are just named differently and obviously painted differently to match the company colors and like branding, but it's pretty much the same units. Na pewno nie hoodie. I would prefer if you would at least put your messages through the translator so that everyone can see. For me personally, it's not a problem, although other members of the chat might not find it easy to read your messages. That's the reason I buy AP and third-party products, yes. Exactly. Like, the reason why I'm not playing Train Sim World that much as I used to, eventually I made over 40 videos about this game, is that everything is copy-paste in this game. Like, I would love to see some more content, and I appreciate that they at least release a new route and they look somewhat new, although Horseshoe Curve is pretty much a remake of very old route that was made for Train Simulator 2013 or whatever that was. But yeah, okay, let's say this is a new route, they made it into Train Sim World 2, so that's a news, yeah, that's worth something, and definitely that increases the value of this DLC. But the rest of the content is a bit, I don't know what to say about it, because I haven't really played any of the scenarios. But I have a feeling that the first scenario I'm gonna pick, and I will just pick at random because I don't know those. I literally started one of them, which was pretty much, yeah, exactly matching my expectations. But I hope that this time I will make it to pick one of them that will be unique, and that's what I'm expecting. If the scenarios will keep up with the new changes, and if they will, let's say, introduce something new, I don't mind there is just a handful of them. But if they are just copy-paste of whatever DTG did in the past, that doesn't really look good for the price of like £25 or whatever the equivalent of your currency is. Right, let's see. What about the BNSF and UP? I don't know, honestly. I think they all pretty much buy similar models of locomotives, so like I don't expect much variety in that terms. Although I believe there are a little bit more engines than GP38, GP40 and AC4400 used in the US. So there is always a field to introduce some new shunter, like they did in Navraken Dresden, where they actually introduced small shunting locomotive and gave it like maybe 2 or 3 missions. But hey, at least there is a new engine, yeah? You use it maybe twice during entire like game, but eventually you have it, yeah? You can do something with it, you can paint it, or if there is any sort of scenario editor, I never actually looked into that, you might actually make your own scenario with this locomotive. But yeah, Horseshoe Curve doesn't introduce anything brand new. It's just the reskins and eventually small changes to interior of the cabs, because that's how it works. That's DTG for you, basically. Right. Anyway, we are sitting here talking and criticizing the game, and we haven't played it yet. So, guys, I will pick one of the scenarios, but you need to make the choices, okay? I found it really fun last time when we went into Arosa line, and you guys pretty much set up the scenario for me. So we will do that again today on Horseshoe. So I will pick up one timetable mission. Probably we will go from one end to another, or if you prefer, we can do some shunting. But you will set up the weather for me. So we can go in bright sunny day, or we can go in complete rainstorm and like whatever the game allows me to set up. So I think we can do it that way, and might be fun. Right, so first choice, do we want to have fun with ES44 AC, or would we prefer to drive something lighter, which is GP38? So the first choice, guys, you need to pick my poison. Come on, chat, what are we driving today? Okay, so we got one vote for ES44 AC. Any other voices? Yes, okay, two votes. Okay, two votes. Can we get some more? Okay, I believe. Oh, okay, so we got 2-1 for ES. So ES still wins. Okay, last chance for anyone who would like to speak. Okay, so we got 3 voices for, or 3 votes for ES. So we will go with ES44 AC. Perfect. Right, I believe that this locomotive is not really used for shunting, but we got quite a few services, in fact. So, in that case, the decision would be the direction. Should we go from whatever that is? Oh, okay. I really like that DTG always puts names of towns that are not on the map, and I have to figure out the direction. But I believe this is from Johnstown to whatever that other place is, and the other one goes from Altona, I believe. Is it? Okay, we got few starts at Johnstown. Johnstown. Come on, is there anything going from... Wow, oh, that's a really long scenario. Oh, that's a loading call. Maybe just time. Yeah, I believe we might stick to time, because like picking one of those scenarios will take ages. So, do we want to play more in early morning, perhaps in the middle of the day, or should we pick something in afternoon? Chat, another decision. Good morning. Okay, I'll take it as a vote and as a hello. Hello, Nico. Jenner, hello, welcome to the stream. Are you a real train? If you are asking if I'm a real train engineer, no, I'm not associated with railways. Early morning. Okay, so we got 2 voices for 2 votes for morning. Na pewno nie Hoodie. I don't really work with the schedule. I usually try to do 2 streams a week. One of them happens around middle of the week, which is Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. Sometimes I do extra stream on Friday, and quite often I do streams on Saturdays, which are our community streams, where we play Railroads Online together. But yeah, I don't really have stable schedule, because I don't really have that much time to put everything into strict schedule and stick to it. That doesn't work for me. Morning is good. Okay, so we got 3 votes for morning, and I believe nobody else is interested to cast their own vote and use their right to voice their choice. So we will go with morning. So Morning. We can go at 5 a.m. in the morning, which is pretty much normal time for many train engineers to begin their journey. Should we go with intermodal, manifest, or coal train? I think we will go with Allentown Conway. Sounds like an interesting service. We will be going a little bit uphill, a little bit downhill. Yeah, sounds good to me. You just realized that in the summer you can watch my streams easily. Yeah, that's benefit of having summertime and winter time, or whatever. Yeah, daylight saving or whatever they call it. Yeah, basically that small change of 1 hour makes a difference, isn't it? Right, so let's go with Allentown Conway. Oh, I forgot to set up the weather. Oh my goodness me, I'm terrible. Okay, we will play with whatever weather there is. I believe it will be okay. I think we got like clear weather. There we go, early morning. And here we are. As you can see, AC44 or whatever that is, ES44, there we go. This one looks a little bit more cramped than typical AC4400s from what is that? What was that route? Oh, yeah. Sandpatch Grade, there we go. But it's pretty much the same stuff. We got those two famous screens where we set up brakes. And speaking of brakes, let me just go to air brake menu. There we go. We are in cutout and trailing brakes, and we don't want it. We want cut in, and we want lead. So let's save changes. Perfect. So the brakes are set up. Now, step lights, we don't need that. Gauge lights, yeah, that could be useful. Crosswalk lights, yeah. What else? Obviously I need to put in reverser. Oop. Come on, stop putting it in. There we go. Okay, headlights. Let's put them on bright for now. Control on, generator field on, engine run on. Okay. Oh, these two don't work. That's dynamic brake, yeah. Obviously map is not available because why not? Depart, right, blah blah blah. Okay, so half of the cabin doesn't work. Lead sound off, okay. Horn, okay, that works. Automatic brake, handle off. Let's release it. It still won't make much change, because I believe we got, yeah, at least one more engine. Right, let's have a look at this. Window heaters. Nah, we don't really need that. It's not. Refrigerator. Chat, do we need refrigerator? I don't think we really do. Radio, yeah, that could be useful. Long hood headlights. Okay. Distributed power. I believe we might need that. Okay. Let's see. Crosswalk lights, control. Okay. Number lights, yeah. I like that. Headlight control. Short hood leads. Or long hood leads. There we go. Engine control run. Okay, I believe this stuff is already set up. Do we have heater? No. Okay, okay. Air conditioner. Okay, just in case I will feel cold. Right, do we have safety devices somewhere here? That's a good question. Oh, hey, we are rolling back. That's not something I wanted. There we go. Yeah, we are on emergency. That might be a bit too much. Right, where are fuel pump, running lights? Okay. Where is a fuse for no, for alerter? Because I believe that Dovetail turned it off, and they always have a talent to hide those important buttons that I'm gonna need. And do we have alerter? Obviously there is none. Is that the only fuse panel? Control plus enter. No. Not sure if it works. Distance. Oh, I can measure my train if I need to. Okay. Okay, yeah, but there is no fuse for alerter itself, or at least I can't find it just yet. Right, so we need banking com, definitely, so that I won't have to run along entire train and set it up. Definitely I can't really be bothered by it. Right, I believe we are now more or less ready. So, chat, let me just double check the map if we are all good to go. Yeah, looks like we should be alright. At least they put us on the track that is going where we have to go. Okay, and we will end up on this track. I'm happy with that. Oh, wrong button, as always. Alright, chat. No, wrong way. There we go. Brakes released. Reverser goes forward. Ooh, that horn actually sounds pretty good. Should we open the window? Yeah, horn is pretty good. Okay, the question is, can this thing actually run? Because for now, I can feel the struggle. I'm on notch 2, and this thing doesn't move. The Prorock, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you will have a great time today, Mr. Latsur. Okay, for now I will be Mr. Okay, this thing is not going anywhere. Okay, we got 3 engines on the front. Oh, and the train is long enough so that I have loading screen when switching to the real loco. Come on. Oh wow. Yes, Railjet, I changed it. I did change it. But this thing, oh. Hainam, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Right, the brake is released. Let me just release the throttle. Let's double check the air brake. Yes, we are in cut-in lead. So that should be... alright. Distance setup, distance sound. Okay, we don't need to do that. So, let's see. Yeah, we are now rolling back. Are we? Luigi Rota, we could start rolling if these locomotives could pull the cargo. But it doesn't feel like this train wants to go anywhere. Okay, we are on notch 3. And the brake seems to be holding me. Okay, we are moving somewhere. Yeah, but this thing is struggling. Let's see, notch 4. That would be a lot. Oh wow. I can't believe I can't move on notch 4. So something is wrong. Put the pedal to the metal. I'm not sure why this thing decided. Let me just reset banking com. Let's double check it. Call the mechanics, we have a technical problem. Yeah, we definitely do. The question is what the technical problem will be. Right, can I see? Okay, brake pipe is at 89. So technically the brakes should be released. Let's bail off the brakes. That is a good question. Why this thing is not working? Let's reset the reverser. Hainam, no. I used banking com to set it up automatically, but I might actually have to go there and do everything by hand. Although from what I can see, yeah, the brakes are now released and we are rolling back. So if I will apply some throttle to overcome it. Chat, I think we have a movement. Okay, notch 2. Come on. Ooh, that must be really heavy consist. I haven't really checked what's the weight of this entire thing. Okay, but I can see we are just slightly... No, we are not. Okay, notch 3. Okay, chat, we got a movement. We got the movement. We got it. We got it. My goodness me, look at this power. Now, it doesn't look like I'm wheel slipping. No, there's no wheel slip. Perfect. Yeah, but I'm not really moving either. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's build up some momentum before I start increasing power. But that's definitely something. Alright, chat. We are moving. Notch 4. Okay. I think from now we will be good. Let's introduce some silence. I prefer to not listen to the engine sounds for too long. Okay. I guess everything will work now. I can't seem to find ditch lights. Where are they? I will have to inspect this cabin, because since they changed the layout, it's hard to find something that I need. Let's see. Oh, okay. The fan doesn't really have animation. Doesn't seem to be spinning. Yeah, it's not. Near the reverser. So that's headlights. But I can't see the ditch lights. Back headlights. Nope. That's interesting. That's alerter, which doesn't work because I can't find the button to turn it on. Ooh, I think the screen is at least telling me what's the speed limit. 15 miles an hour. Speaking of the speed limit. Oh, okay, I am doing 15 miles an hour. So perhaps let's release the throttle a little bit. Okay, I think notch 3 should help me keep stable speed. We are speeding a little bit, but well, it won't last long. Oh, okay, I am still under the speed limit. Perfect. But I'm sure it's gonna drop. Yeah, it is showing my speed rather than the limit. I was actually hoping that this is showing the speed limit. But it's in fact the speed that I'm moving on. Desk light. Oh, desk light. Oh my goodness me, that's too bright. Oh, desk light dimmer. Okay, okay. So I can tone it down a little bit. Yeah, okay. That looks okay. Nice. We got another tone assist heading the other way. Okay, we can now reduce the throttle down to notch 2. I don't really want to go too fast because we are approaching some switches. Right, that is sound, that is horn. I don't need horn. I can eventually turn on the bell, and that actually sounds pretty good. Okay, let's turn it off. $15 miles an hour. Okay, that sounds like a good speed. But the question is... Cab signal. Window heaters. No. I see, I see, I see. I can use that computer to measure something. Probably my actual speed. Okay, signals are good to go. Although we will be going through that switch. So I believe 13 miles an hour shouldn't be too fast. Hopefully. Well, we are definitely going to be late. Looking at the timetable. Yeah, we are about 20 minutes late. From the get-go. That's pretty good. Change headlight to short hood. Perhaps, yeah. Short hood leads. Okay. Let's check it. Oh, there we go. Yes, now it's working. Thank you very much, Railjet. There we go. We are going through those switches. Okay, we are slowing down a little bit too much to my taste. Notch 3 it is. Well, it definitely takes some practice to control this locomotive because things doesn't seem to work as I expected them to do. Okay, I think we might have lost a little bit too much speed. Okay, but we are getting there. We are getting there, chat. 10 miles an hour. Now we need to wait for an entire train to go through that switch. I'm not sure how long my consist is because, as always, Dovetail doesn't really provide that information. Unless I use escape menu, and now it will tell me that I got 84 cars. Ooh, and this thing is nearly 8,000 tons. Well, 7,500 tons. No wonder I couldn't move it. Especially here at Altona, which is going uphill. But yeah, it would be nice to have a paper somewhere here where I can check the parameters of my train. There we go, 10 miles an hour. Thomas the Tank Engine mod. Oh my goodness me. You know what? That would be a good mod for the upcoming steam trains. I believe if somebody will make a Thomas the Tank Engine livery for that, what is it gonna be? 80, I think, or 60. That big freight locomotive. I'm gonna use it. Genuinely, chat. I'm gonna use that mod and that livery if somebody is gonna make it and make it look good. Because I think it will fit the setting. and providing that it's Dovetail, I expect that the level of complication of driving this thing will be pretty much similar to operating the Thomas the Tank Engine. Unless they're gonna surprise me. Okay, we might need notch 4, chat. We might need notch 4. Okay, I need to pull that entire consist. I'm not sure if we can still see it, but yeah. End of my train still haven't gone through that switch. Pretty much the rear locomotive is still at the platform. So yeah, we still got a way to go. And also, from what I can see, Dovetail still haven't eliminated that old bug where the rear engines doesn't really have engine sound. So you can't really hear if the rear engine is working or not, if it's a dead weight or not. I can only assume that it's working because of the funnel. And I can see that the rate at which the smoke is being generated shows that the engine has to be working. Maybe not too hard. But definitely it is working. How long is this train? Well, I know it's 84 cars long, but how long exactly? I don't know. It's gonna be like a mile long, probably. Okay, back to front engines. Okay, I can feel the struggle. Let's go to notch 5. Let's inspect our speed. Yeah, 9 miles an hour. That's definitely not fast enough. The problem is that the front of my train is already going uphill on like 1.4% grade at least. While the back of my train is still at 0.5 or something. The Prorok, yeah, the locomotive can technically move in both directions, although the cabin is only in one direction. It's heavy freight locomotive, so normally you would just turn your head around or turn the entire seat, because I believe the seat can be turned. Or can like actually turn. That's why you have panel to the side, so you can operate it in both directions. So you just turn your head and you got pretty alright view along entire that engine compartment. So yeah, it can go in both directions, although the cabin is only in one end, or on one end, if you prefer it. Okay, there we go, there we go. I believe that as soon as we hit that curve, we can start speeding up. The speed limit on this part of the track should be at around 30-35 miles an hour. So let's go to notch 6. And before we hit the proper speed, the back of our train should technically pass that switch. Pausing the game and look at the left of the screen. Oh, 0.9 miles. So it's just short of a mile. That's how long it is. Jessica team, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you'll have a great time today. So yeah, the train is almost well, it's probably around 1.5 kilometers long if you prefer to use metric system. Right, so that is notch 6. Let's push it to notch 7. Jessica Tim, I'm not sure if you missed much. About an hour of the stream where I was struggling a little bit to get this thing moving, because it's really heavy. There we go. We are speeding up, chat. Half an hour late, but we're getting somewhere. We're definitely getting somewhere. Okay, I didn't really pay attention if there was any sort of whistle board or sign that informs me there is railroad crossing. I'm not sure if anyone noticed that, although I've been switching screens back and forth. So yeah, sorry about that, chat, if somebody feels offended that I'm not driving entirely up to the rules of local railways. Today we are just looking at the track. I'm not trying to play perfectly. So there will be mistakes. There will be critical mistakes, I believe. But we are not focusing on the drive itself. I will just try to stick within the speed limits. I won't be driving recklessly though. The prologue, what do you mean? Jessica Tim, technically yes and no. The brake pressure was set correctly, but for some reason, while at first the train started to roll back, which is correct, because Altona is slightly, is on a grade. So I knew that the brake pressure shouldn't be a problem, and it was perfectly fine. The problem started when I tried to move forward, because for some reason the train didn't want it to move. What I didn't check is how much does it weigh, and that's nearly like 7,600 tons, which means that I need to use a little bit more power than I would expect. So yeah, I've been really struggling to get this thing moving, but we are getting somewhere. We're now doing solid 60 miles an hour on what I believe is probably like 1.8% grade. Which is pretty good. We are definitely going forward. Oh, that's the funny thing about UK. They use both metric and imperial system, so depending on whoever you are talking with, he will use metric, imperial, or mix them both, and that's really confusing sometimes. So yeah, I do technically measure it in both of them, although imperial system is not really my favorite, because I don't have a feel of the length. So if somebody will tell me, yeah, we got about 3 inches long something, I always struggle to imagine how much 3 inches is, even though it is roughly around 7.5 centimeters or something like that, but I don't really feel that. There is a chance I could stall. No, I'm not gonna do that. There is no chance I will do that. And the speed is pretty much stable at around 15-16 miles an hour, depending on how much the grade will change. Obviously, there's probably a limit of how much those locomotives can pull. But I'm fairly sure that we got enough power to pull this cargo all the way uphill. Do I like the route? That's a good question. From what I can see right now, it looks pretty alright. I mean, yes, at a very long distance, in a very good weather, you can still see the same issue as it is present on what is that? Oh, I keep forgetting the route names. That Swiss route we played last time. Oh my goodness me. Arosa line. There we go. So you still get the same issue at the very, very, very long distance. So as you can see, the hills at the very back doesn't have any trees, and they are not rendering. Although I think it's still a little bit better than Arosa line. So level of detail is alright. As for my taste, it's alright. Although, yeah, a little bit more care to very, very long distance objects could be put. Definitely tuning down the weather just to make sure that those hills on the back are not that much visible will help. But when it comes to how the route looks like so far, it's pretty much up to expectations. Vicky KJ, hello, welcome to the stream. How many wagons? I believe there is 84 cars in this consist, so it is a very, very long train. In fact, it is almost a mile long. Jessica Tim, that's really interesting choice. If you like to play Run 8, I think it might be better to invest in Run 8. Although I've never played it personally. I heard a good opinions about the game. So if the routes are at reasonable price, I think investment in that, especially that you get multiplayer interaction with other players, and you can, like, level of simulation I heard is really, really good. The only downside is graphics, which is a little bit outdated, but that's normal for most of the simulators. Probably I would personally go for Run 8 if I wouldn't already invest in that. Then yeah, Run 8 might be a good idea. In fact, I need to get into that at one point. It might be interesting to see how does multiplayer in Run 8 works compared to Train Driver 2, which I've been playing quite a lot recently. John Anderson, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you will have a great time today. There we go, 35 miles an hour. Yeah, not a chance we're gonna hit that speed limit. There we go, we are slowly climbing. In fact, what I might do is to grab some screenshots. There we go, that's one of them. Yeah, that's a nice angle. Okay, so we got 2 screenshots for now. And let's see what else the route has to offer. We still haven't reached Horseshoe Curve. It's 1.2 miles away. Yeah, exactly. The problem with Imperial system is that, I mean, it is consistent. It has its own, like, equivalents, but it's not as easy to remember as metric system, which is in decimals. So yeah, maybe that's why I can't get used to Imperial system. Whenever I have to use it, it's massive pain. Yeah, Jessica team, welcome to the club. That's why I'm trying to avoid getting any news about Train Sim World 2. Otherwise, yeah, I probably spend way too much on this game, even though it's really not the greatest one. Like, it has potential, but it's a wasted potential, as I said many times before. Like, the graphics is good. The game is pretty alright. There are a few engines, but the scenarios are absolutely dull, and that's the problem with them. Like, I love that they pick the routes that will be challenging to drive on their own to provide the challenge for the scenarios they make, because all the scenarios they make is a copy-paste. So if you beat one, then you beat all of them. That's why, while I was struggling with this locomotive, I don't really feel like this particular service was a massive challenge to me. Dylan Pool, I'm not sure exactly what is full distance of this route, but let me go into the map. It is entire way from Altona to Johnstown, and there is also a fork out to, I can't remember where that is, but it is somewhere. And there are definitely some scenarios heading in different directions. So the total length of the routes will be probably like, I don't know, 30-40 miles, maybe. Sadly, I never actually checked it. But I believe if you go to Train Sim World 2 Wiki, you will get accurate information about entire length of this thing. It's 40 miles. Yeah, so that was just my rough estimate. So I guess I was correct. Dylan Pool, it's very similar. I can't remember if that South End fork was present in the old route. So that might be a new thing. Definitely all that route between Altona and Johnstown, that's the old part, and it's just remake. I'm really not sure about that South fork that is on this route, because it's drivable, so definitely you can have some scenarios there. I'm also not sure about this yard in the middle, if that was present in original route from Train Simulator. Can't really remember that. I would really have to do a comparison and check the map of both of them. I haven't really looked into original Horseshoe map before starting this stream, so that's a good question. That's a really good question. But I'm fairly sure that there are some new elements to this. Right, we are chit-chatting while the train is rolling, although, yeah, I don't really run into a risk of speeding, because as you can see we are holding solid 15 miles an hour, and this train is not going any faster. Thankfully it's also not going any slower. Right, let me just... Oh, can I please... No? Oh, okay, that's as far as I can pull the camera out. There we go. We got another screenshot with that old Pennsylvania locomotive. I can't remember what model that was, but that was the model that was present in original route from Train Simulator 2020, or that was 2013 originally. Right now it's Train Simulator 2022, and soon it will be Train Simulator Classic, I believe, and because they are constantly changing the name and can't decide how do they want to name it. There we go. Right, we can also see entire Horseshoe right now as we are passing through it. As you can see, my train is going all the way to the other end, and we can't see the end of my train. Maybe if I would go to free camera. There we go. I could actually see something. Is that as far as I can go? There we go. I wonder if I can actually catch entire train. I don't think we are short enough. Yeah, that is a long one. Right, chat. Will we be able to see both ends of our train? I'm really curious about that. Because yes, that's a classic horseshoe curve for you. Oh, there we go, there we go. We got both ends. Chat, we got both ends. There we go. More screenshots. Yes, that's definitely one thing that this route is good for. Catching those nice screenshots. There we go. There's also some sort of a lake. I like the level of details there. Oh, I see. That might be a dam. Nice. The route in Mojave. Oh yes, yes, yes. I think I. How was that? Is that on that spiral? Oh, I can't remember how was it called. Oh. No, I won't be able to bring that out of the end of my head. But I know what you. I know what you are talking about. It's that spiral uphill downhill section where you go through like a bridge or tunnel and you spiral your train. Yes, 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 that's a really nice one. Right, chat, we were not really paying attention to where our train is going, but I believe we are still doing good. Ah, yes, the happy loop. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Right, the sad part about this route is that as soon as you put notch 8 on the throttle, you pretty much have hand-free operations in this one. I don't really have much to do. Apart from observing the environment around my train. Like, I'm not running into risk of going above the speed limit, at least not on this part of the route. Yeah, there's really not much. The main attraction is already gone. We went past, or we already went through Horseshoe. That's it, the route is done. We officially finished the route. Nah, I'm just kidding. There's still quite a few miles to go. Dylan Poole. I believe there might be passenger services, although not in Train Sim 2. That's the sad part. The only thing you get with the route is... what is that? ES 44 whatever. Yeah, AC 4400 CW or however you call this locomotive. It's pretty much the same thing. You get GP38 and a whole lot of freight rolling stock, and that's it. So you only get freight services on that route. But yes, there are some passenger stations, and it would be nice to have a few passenger scenarios to go through. Unfortunately, those were not added with this update, or basically with the release of the route. So yeah, sad part, is that you won't have passenger services, at least for now. Hi Nam, yes, we are still climbing uphill. The climb uphill goes all the way to the tunnel, and it's only past the tunnel that I will be going downhill. So there is still quite a distance to go. I like the signaling on this route. It's pretty straightforward. You got literally 3 symbols to remember, and you're good to go. Passenger service DLC incoming. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. And it will probably cost like 20 quid, knowing Dovetail. At least 12. I miss those milepost automatic message things in Train Sim World that tells you if cards are okay. I mean, they look okay. There we go. Well, to be honest, depending on the angle at which you are looking, this route has pretty good level of detail. I like it. I can't compare it to real life because obviously I've never been in that area, so I can't say how it looks compared to the real thing. I know that it looks much better than the route in Train Simulator. Definitely. The defect detector. Ooh, that's a new thing for me. I've never heard about that. Although technically, if anything would happen with the train, for example, if it would split, I would know about that because, yeah, we use air brakes, so I would know, yeah, there is a defect. I think that's the best defect detector we can get in Train Sim World 2 at the moment. Alright, chat, I can see a small problem here. And that is third locomotive in my consist. Because I have a feeling that it's not doing any job at the moment. Okay, I was wrong. It is doing some job, although the smoke wasn't rendering. But you can actually see how hard these locomotives are working. I think this consist needs more engines. I don't know, we already got 4. Although, yeah, this one seems to not do anything, to be honest. Yeah, if you look at it, I have a feeling that this one might be idling, chat. I don't see that massive amount of smoke that should be coming from the funnel. There is some, but yeah, I don't know why I have a feeling that this is a dead weight. Yeah, very little smoke from this one. Oh, detector milepost. I see. Canadian Pacific, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you'll have a great time today. Sound of the Loco is little off, I think, very high pitch. That's the problem. I've never heard those locomotives in real life, so I can't really say much about sounds. That is something that people that actually work with those engines could say. Because they have comparison of how the game sounds and how the real thing will sound. But unfortunately, for me, the sounds are good. They are alright. The engine has its own sounds and all that stuff. The only problem is that rear engine that doesn't seem to have any sounds. And it doesn't seem to really work. And that's the problem. I have a feeling that like I'm pulling the dead weight. And I think this consist could do a little bit better when it comes to speed. But that's my prediction. I wonder if this thing would go any faster in the winter or any slower in the winter. That is something I would have to check. So that's very interesting if like snow and like snowy weather would affect this consist to the point where I can't climb this hill. Engines are distorted. Maybe. I mean, they definitely modulate some sounds to make each engine sound different if they lack proper recordings. So yeah, they do some magic when it comes to sounds. But I don't know. Community is putting a lot of pressure on developers from DTG. To put better sounds into the engines, but nobody, literally, like when you look on the forums, nobody's commenting how dull the scenarios are and how repeatable they are. And that's the biggest problem, in my opinion. It doesn't keep people playing the game, because sounds can always be fixed. Like as soon as DTG will be able to get their hands on samples, then obviously they can replace the sounds in like any sort of update, and they can update sounds for every single locomotive they will get the samples for. But obviously, like, I don't know why the community is always asking, hey, how's the sounds of this locomotive? Why does the engine sound a little bit off? It sounds a bit off because they recorded that like probably 15 years ago, and they couldn't get appointment with railways to do proper sound recording, because it requires a lot of preparation to send a crew of 2 or 3 people to actually bring the microphones and record everything. Believe it or not, yeah, that's how railways operate. You just can't walk in any yard and do recording, and they would probably kick you out. Besides, if you want to record proper sounds, you need to put microphones in specific places of the locomotive, in specific places around the locomotive to actually get proper samples for everything. And they probably can't do that. So yeah, the sounds will be different from the original. They still sound pretty alright. And I won't be really commenting much on that. I'm glad that they tried to at least sound differently. Whether they got original ones or not, I don't really care. Because, yeah, I realize how much of a hassle it is for them to get sound samples for one single engine. Right, chat, we are still climbing. And I can't see the end of it. Or maybe. Yes, I think we are approaching the tunnel now. So very soon I will have to switch from using throttle to use of a dynamic brake. And if you've seen my old video from like what was that, sand patch grade, you probably know that I'm not the best in using dynamic brake. Nah, Tam King, they would probably get really slammed if people would find out that they supported financially someone who is doing something super dangerous. So they can't do it. They simply can't do it. Not to mention that people who are doing that train surfing, they are effectively trespassing. And in many cases they are also committing a few other crimes on the way. Like I've seen that surfer that's crossed the borders and stuff on like while surfing freight trains. So effectively he committed multiple crimes in at least 2 countries. And that's the problem. If he gets caught, then yeah, I wouldn't like to be formally associated with such person, because yeah, that would eventually also affect me while somebody else is doing something really silly and dumb. So as much as it is impressive that somebody is doing it, I watch it for entertainment, but yeah, I don't really personally want to be associated with that person. Luigi Rota, welcome back. There we go, chat. We're getting somewhere. We are definitely getting somewhere. Although I wonder if we can get this panel working somehow. That would be interesting. I don't think people who worked on this particular locomotive put any functions in there. Too bad, because I would love to see a route map and sat nav and whatever, because I believe that's what it is. That would be really cool. If this locomotive has such functionality, I wonder why it's not working in the game. You're still here, yay! Good, good. Right, chat, we are approaching the tunnel, so that's a good moment to check if Dovetail did anything about the lights. Because if you remember Sandpatch Grade, whenever you get into the tunnel, the lights were... yeah, they were. I guess that's the best thing I can say about it. Okay, so the South Fork is 16 miles away from here, from the tunnel, and the tunnel is about, what is that, 8 miles away from Altona, so that's at least 24 miles already. Fingers crossed for lights. Okay, chat, we got some progress, as you can see it doesn't look too bad. Sides of the tunnel are lit up, and I think I can see just a bit of a light in front of my train, so it's not too bad. Okay, now we are properly in the tunnel, so the lights in the tunnel works like rubbish. Again, we got nice light effect on on the sides of the tunnel. Although, even in this lighting, I would see a reflection from the rails. And I believe I would see a little bit of a light in front of my train. This bit, that looks weird, mostly because there is no light source in here. So again, I'm not sure what's wrong. That is probably something that could be fixed during building the track. I believe when they connected the parts of the tunnel, they are not exactly connected, and the game thinks there is like a window on top. That's why it's generating lights from outside, but that's a minor issue. But again, yeah, the locomotive lights are not fixed, even though they already have a proper technique to do it. If you remember Navark and Dresden routes, they did that with few locomotives, and actually they did a good job there. So yeah, sadly they haven't fixed the lights, and also they probably need to fix that tunnel because it has weird light effects inside. But overall, thankfully that's it. That is the only tunnel on this route. Nice touch, but definitely Dovetail needs to work much harder on that element and get it fixed already. Like, Train Sim World 2 has been around for 2 years and they still haven't fixed the tunnels. Right. Anyway, chat. We are going downhill. So let's put it into coast. Perfect. I believe the train might slow down a bit because large part of it is still in the tunnel, so it's going through the peak. Hopefully we got enough momentum to just roll through, and then the train will start picking up speed. Zephyr, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you will have a great time today. How are you doing, buddy? I'm doing great. Okay, we got yellow signal. I'm not sure what that means. Let's give it notch 4 just to hold our speed. There we go. Okay, we are going straight ahead. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tam King. Definitely for the amount of money they already got paid in multiple DLCs, they could at least put enough effort to fix the lights inside the tunnels. After 2 years, that would be appropriate thing to do. So yeah, I don't know why they are always using excuse, oh okay, but we were focusing on the sounds, and they never changed the sounds either. So what they are focusing on? I'm switching tracks. That's interesting. I will have to look at those signals and what blinking one means. I know it's yellow, so definitely I need to slow down. Although, yeah, I don't really need to slow down because I'm not really moving fast. 20 miles an hour is definitely not that fast. So yeah, going back to the topic, I would prefer if Dovetail would focus on fixing technical issues with their product. So poor performance in the menus, that's one of the things. Like, the game uses much more resources than it should in the main menu of the game, so there is something wrong there. Poor lights in the tunnels, locomotive lights generally working like rubbish in many cases. So they could fix that. Get some proper scenarios for the game that are complex and interesting. Perhaps introduce some randomness to some scenarios that will make one scenario worth 10 current ones, and that would probably be still different scale, because one random scenario will be much better than like tons of repeatable scenarios that they always bring. And that's already a huge change to the game, and they don't really need to bring out DLCs for that. Right, I need to put some dynamic brakes now. 3.7, I believe we might try that. Yeah, because the speed limit is 35 miles an hour, and I'm actually picking up the speed. Yeah. Okay. That's not too bad. Does anyone remember what is the keyboard shortcut for dynamic brake? I would really love to see that, so I can't really remember which one is that. My goodness me, chat. We are barely keeping the speed in check. Oh, I see. The signals are Baltimore and Ohio design. Okay. I will have to look into that. The problem with US signaling system is that every single railway that happened to be operating somewhere around US, which is quite large country on its own, had their own design and they had their own ideas. And they were not exactly in line with each other, so it's really hard for me to... I might actually use some minimum reduction of automatic brake just to make sure that the train is in control or under control. Oh, okay, I am switching tracks and I am probably speeding right now. Oh my goodness me, I'm doing 30 miles an hour on a switch. Okay, that's the question. The speed is dropping, which is nice. Significantly over the speed limit. Yes, I believe that on the switches the speed limit is 15 miles an hour and I'm doing 20. Let's release the brakes now. Canadian Pacific. No, I meant actually slightly different thing. So while I can understand that, let's say, setting up the weather and this kind of stuff, yeah, that can be done by a player at the start of the scenario, or eventually like introducing some slider that will randomize the weather a little bit, so it will eventually change during the scenario. That could be done. And I believe that developers from Dovetail can figure that out. But what I meant is random events like delays, things that happen not because you messed up or you failed to operate your locomotive correctly, but because AI failed. So let's say there might be a late train coming from the other track and you have to let it through. There might be higher category train that needs to go like past you because it is already delayed, and you have to let it through because you are driving a freight train. This sort of things. Random events on the tracks where, let's say, you receive a signal that you need to stop somewhere because something happened. Yeah, like pretty normal stuff. Everything that happens every day. You don't really need to show it to the player, although it would be nice to see that there is a train stopped somewhere, because let's say few cars derailed and like they are still finishing off and they are about to open one of the tracks and things like that. Cows on the tracks or animals on the tracks, yes, obviously some routes have problems like that. For example, some UK routes had a problem with falling rocks on the tracks and things like that, and they still had to close one of the tracks and make it safe or suspend the traffic somewhere. This kind of thing. If they would introduce some complex routes, let's say something similar to Navark and Dresden, they can actually route the train in a different direction temporarily, just to make sure that it reaches the end destination, although it's going to skip affected stations or something. Again, those things will happen on the railways. Additional temporary speed limits that will randomly pop up in some places. Again, those kind of things can happen, and nothing stops Dovetail from generating a pop-up message at the beginning of the scenario to tell you, hey, you know what, you are driving this route for 1,000th time, yeah, whatever, you should probably know the speed limit, but there is a temporary speed limit in that part of the route, yeah, and adhere to the temporary speed limit rather than to the signs, or whatever. There are procedures that every railway follows, and they have procedures on how to introduce you with temporary speed limits. It happens on Polish railways, it happens on German railways, and I believe American and UK railways also have it. In fact, for UK railways, they have something. They got pretty much like similar document that there is in Poland, where you got everything documented on that route. From this point of the route to this point of the route, there is that speed limit, and you can expect signs there and something like that. So they get like a weekly summary, I think, or daily summary. I can't remember exactly how it works. But yeah, you get that information. And what would stop Dovetail from introducing a pop-up message at the start of the scenario where you get such document, or like a shortened version of it? Obviously, you don't need all that legal gibberish that you would normally get on such documents. But you need a pure information, yeah? At this part of the route there is a temporary speed limit now, and you have to adhere to that. And then you got another element to worry about as a driver, even though you are repeating the same scenario for, let's say, 10th time, 20th time, or whatever. Oh, there we go. We are now driving under the speed limit. Perfect. So yeah, this sort of randomness definitely would help to bring the players back into the game and make those single player scenarios interesting. Yeah. Exactly, Canadian Pacific. Those things happen. Like the fact that infrastructure is already laid doesn't mean that something can't go wrong. So if railways are trying to improve it or fix something, they will impose temporary speed limits or other restrictions that will make the trains, for example, go on a one-track system where one train has to pass before another train can go in other directions. So those things will happen, and then the trains will be held at the signals. Dylan Pool, there are some things that could be simulated this way, although the problem with Train Sim World 2 is that it's a commercial product, so they can't introduce, let's say, situations that can happen in Maszyna, where AI driver can just drive in front of you through the railway crossing and you have to react somehow. They can't do that in Train Sim World 2. So this kind of random events unfortunately won't be possible, and that's a solid no-no from them, because they have to pay for the licenses, and none of the railway companies would issue a license for a product where you can do a spectacular disaster. Right, chat, we are going downhill. I am trying to keep this train under control, but I'm not sure exactly what's the gradient. Or what's the grade. Thankfully, the speed limit is 50. Well, it will be 50. After entire train will pass through it. So now I need to measure up a mile, so I believe those mileposts will come in handy. Andrei, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you will have a great time today. Okay, 253. Ooh, I see. Has welded track, jointed track, and then welded. Yeah. I'm not sure what type of welded track you have, because there are different types and they are built slightly differently. But every now and then they still need joints, so in most cases railways are trying to put welded tracks on a long straight or on like a long pieces of route where trains usually don't stop too often, so they can actually travel at those high speeds, but obviously at some point they need to create that extra gap between another track to allow for the rail to expand a little bit under heat condition and stuff. So they usually do that around the stations where there are few bits of jointed tracks, so they can create or accommodate for those gaps. So that's how they do it, on a slow sections or on like a bend where they would have to slow the train down eventually. That's where they are trying to put those gaps. So yeah, that's why even though it's called welded track, it's not fully welded, because that wouldn't be possible. Like trying to lay, let's say, 50 or 100 kilometers long welded track without any gaps, oh, that would be a massive disaster, really quick. Right, we are doing 35 miles an hour. I believe it would be appropriate to use some dynamic brakes. 254. No stations. That's interesting. Maybe they just use the type that can't be longer than a certain amount. Like if it's 3 miles long, it's still quite a long bit of tracks. Oh, nice. Good luck with that, and hopefully you will enjoy dispatching in Train Driver 2. Alright, chat, we are doing 38 miles an hour. Okay, I'm not sure what that sign meant, because they forgot to print the speed limits. So I believe that is like no stops. I don't know what they meant by this sign. So I will stick to the old speed limit of 50. We can reduce the dynamic brake a little bit. It's fun traveling 90 miles an hour on the line because you get moved around a lot in plus 175. And yeah. It is fun when your train is actually moving fast. I see. I mean, I don't think there is even a single country that has fully welded tracks, so don't get me wrong, like, not all of European railways are like in the top condition. There are some gaps and bits and pieces that are neglected. Like, oh wow, I don't know if there is even a single railway company that could keep all their tracks in perfect condition, especially that in most of the Europe, including UK, even though it's formally not in the Union, so maybe they left Europe? I don't know. Anyway, what was I? Yes, all the rail tracks or railway tracks and infrastructure is under government's control. So basically each and individual government has the company under their control that maintains the railways, and they are officially the owners of the tracks in that sense. And the railway company just operates on them under the licenses that they have to pay for. So that's how it works in Europe. So yeah, eventually it doesn't really bring that much money to the government because they have to issue licenses at a low enough cost for the railway companies to not overcharge their customers, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the rattling sound. I really like when the trains are doing that. In fact, that's one thing about sounds in Train Sim World 2 that could improve. I believe that not all of the tracks should make no sound at all. Because, yeah, speaking of the rattling sound, I can't remember last time when I heard any rattling sound in Train Sim World. Even when you are going through the switches, which should make a rattling sound, it will always make rattling sound, in fact. And yeah, there is no such thing in Train Sim World 2. Okay, please tell me. 50 miles an hour. Okay. I believe this sign is not rendering properly. That's why I can't read what's on it. I mean, the rattling sound is usually caused by the tracks and by the wagons themselves. So how loud it is inside the train depends on how the wagons are designed and how well they are built when it comes to deafening extra and additional sounds coming from the rattling on the tracks and stuff. Obviously you can't eliminate all of them, but you can minimize them, and obviously there is not much that tracks can do. Obviously, yeah, they can have no gaps in them, and then you can use very old wagons and rolling stock that will make a lot of rattling sound otherwise. Or you can save up money on suspension a little bit. But yeah, old wagons with older suspension types might not be same as good as the new ones. That will work better even if the tracks are not perfect. Right, dynamic brake is all the way to the top. And I still need to use normal brakes to keep the train under control. That's how heavy it is. There we go. I am wondering if does US have any advanced speed limit signs. I couldn't find anything like that, and it would be nice to have one of those somewhere to let you know, hey, the speed limit will go down within a braking distance. I'm not sure if the US is actually doing that. But that would definitely be a useful sign here. Okay. So now I am slowing down a bit faster than I should. Let me reduce. Dynamic brakes. There we go. 38. 37. Okay, that looks good. And we got 4 miles to South Fork. Rally F, hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you have a great time today. Well, the Horseshoe curve is, at least for now, it looks alright. It's actually pretty nice looking route. Okay, I will just turn that off. Yeah, so when it comes to how the route looks like, it's pretty alright, but there are some issues. There are definitely some issues. So when it comes to locomotives, yeah, there's not really much choice. You get this one, which is ES44, whatever that is, or AC4400 CW, because it's pretty much the same engine. You got GP38, and that's pretty much it. And oh yes, there are some new wagons for that rolling stock and stuff. Few missions. Pretty much copy-paste from other routes, so don't expect miracles. But the route itself, yeah, it looks pretty nice when it comes to views, level of detail. I don't really have much to say about it. I think only on a very, very, very far away hills you can see that there are no trees rendering and stuff, but that's the game limitations, not the route limitations. I believe that it still features all those trees in there, so if you would move camera closer they would render, but there's not much that like route creator can do about it. So all in all, I really enjoy it so far. The route definitely has a massive potential, but again, we are talking about Dovetail, so you know what to expect. Yeah, scenarios are pretty much, you played one, you played them all, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So that is a short summary of what we've seen so far. Right, looks like this bit of tracks is quite even, which is good. I will give it notch 4. Heina, technically, yeah, the railway companies can avoid getting delayed. They just need to redesign their timetable to include the condition of the track and stop being unrealistic about it. Don't misadvertise things that can't be done, and then you won't be delayed. Because if you are a passenger and you see that the timetable that you can get will be different, or that in order to get somewhere on time you have to take different train, then you just do it and you put that into your plans, so then you are not delayed effectively, you are right on time. And so yeah, there is possibility to not be delayed, or even on a single track operation. You just have to be realistic in designing the timetable for such. Okay, we can let it coast. I will stick to 35 miles an hour, because I believe the speed limit will drop really soon, as we are approaching South Fork, and we will go through some switches. Okay, looks like, yeah, the speed is increasing. I might need to use some dynamic brakes. I mean, yeah, technically you can still get trains delayed, yeah, don't get me wrong, but you have to design your timetables better if you can't stick to your current ones, because the track conditions are not good enough. Sadly, the track conditions are not something that you can change instantly. You effectively need to plan it, build a new tracks, or fix the old ones before you can introduce faster services. There we go. Okay, let's set dynamic brake to 2.5, whatever that means. Alright, we got 900 yards to what is proudly called South Fork. I believe we might want to slow ourselves down. So let's put full dynamic braking and just slow down to 15 miles an hour. Just in case we are going over any switches, even though technically we shouldn't. I really want to avoid using normal brakes. Okay. No switches so far. Maybe there will be no more. We still got 5 miles to go. Okay, we are still under the speed limit. Perfect. And we got different signaling now. So we got red and green, whatever that means. So red is probably for the left truck. Oh, that's very good that I slowed down. The speed limit goes down to 35. We are currently doing 31. So that was a good luck. Okay, we can turn that off. Or in fact, I wonder what setup does. Return throttle handle to idle, okay. Move braking handle to setup. Pause, then advance as desired. Oh, I see. So, in fact, dynamic brakes might not be working properly back then. Kunciaparati. I can see the chat. Thank you very much. There's no need to spam. There we go. Oh, okay, I am speeding up. I don't want to speed up. Let's set dynamic brakes at 3. Yikes. Okay. We probably need some brakes. I need brakes. Yeah, significantly over the speed limit. I know, game. Don't need to yell at me. Come on. Oh my goodness me. Here we go. 33. Almost there, chat. I'm speeding, I know. Oh dear. Okay, brakes released. Let's set dynamic brake to 4. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, now we are going too slow. But the brakes are still releasing. Yeah, I lost some points. I know. Oh, okay. Another signs that are not properly rendered, or the map creator just put the sign in and forgot to put the values on it, so the game doesn't render them because there are no values. I wonder if that's how it works. I'm fairly sure that it is. This way developers can just put one single sign, or basically how do you call it, model one sign, and then whatever is written on it can be generated by the game based on route design. Right, back to setup with dynamic brake, because apparently the train now decided to go into complete stop. Okay, we are speeding up, but changing grade is not really helping. Okay, now let's increase. Oh, I like that bit. I really like that bit. There we go, screenshot taken. There we go, we got some nice screenshots. Okay, dynamic brake goes back to setup. Still got green light. RTX 2060 is about 335 pounds. Not too bad, not too bad. Definitely graphic card prices are going down, which is a good sign for everyone. But again, the rumors started about RTX 4000 series, so obviously the previous generations will go down in price. Okay, we are speeding up again. There we go. With the help of dynamic brake, we should be able to... Okay. Let's set it at 1.5 and let's see what's gonna happen. If I can keep steady 28 miles an hour, I will be really, really happy about it. Oh, okay, and that is too little. 2.1 perhaps? Oh, okay, and that is too much. So, 1.8. Oh, okay, that is too little. Okay, back to 28, perfect, and let's keep it at 1.9. There we go. Going downhill is definitely a little bit more exciting than going uphill. we are actually running into a risk of speeding. So that entire bit from the tunnel to Johnstown or whatever that other location is will be much more exciting. Obviously you can always go the other way, and this way for that entire distance you would try and climb uphill, which is a challenge of its own. That's not too long, but it's still being pulled by 5 GP38s. That's definitely not the strongest locomotive, is it? There we go. Still got 1.5 miles. Okay, the question is, what is the new speed limit? 35. Okay. And I believe very soon, yeah, we got double yellow here. I wonder what that means. See, chat, and that's one of the problems with American signaling, is that pretty much, like on this route we have 2 signaling systems. Obviously the one that we started with those old signals with the bars, and this one, which is a little bit more modern, based on color light signals rather than symbols or whatever. And again, the general meaning of the signal should be pretty much similar, but since color light signals have much more combinations possible, I'm not sure what that double yellow means. Go slowly. Okay. What slowly means? Is that 30 miles an hour? Is that 15 miles an hour? And that's the question. I would really prefer to know, okay, go slowly, because, well, go slowly in terms of slow down to 20 miles an hour, and then I know, okay, don't exceed 20 miles an hour because something might happen. Because slowly for one driver will be 50 miles an hour, for another one will be 20. At second signal, so the next signal is still gonna be yellow, is it? And then the signal after should be red. Do I understand that correctly? Oh no, wait. 800 yards. So perhaps... Damn, I forgot to check that thing. It says stop at location, and it's 700 yards away. Okay. $600 yards, okay. Okay, I'm gonna use air brakes to stop. Perfect. 14 miles an hour. Okay, I should now be slowing up. Thankfully, next to the clock I got that information. What am I supposed to do next? And it says stop, not go through location. Whew. So, advance approach, proceed preparing to stop at the next signal, not at second signal. The wording is pretty bad. Okay, are you going to stop? My goodness me, this thing doesn't want to stop. Ooh, I actually overshot by 160 yards. Which isn't too bad, because one good thing about this route, which I forgot to mention before, and I've seen that on one of the streams of the route creator, they actually listened to one of the very old feedbacks that people had about markers or stop markers being placed way too close to the stop signals. So people often overshot the market by that 100 yards that I did right now, and they literally spat because the marker was literally right next to the signal, which was terrible. So right now the marker was far enough from the signal for me to overshoot it, not really impact my accuracy, because I'm still stopped at the red signal. The train is still within the siding or whatever it is supposed to be. Because I believe that marker at least includes the length of the train. So we still managed to get gold, although if you look at the graph, yeah, my driving was far from perfect. What do we have here is I don't know even how to think about that speed, but we rapidly approached proper speed, and then I had to rapidly drop it down to 15 on that switch. So that happened right after the tunnel, if you remember that situation. And then on a 50 mile, I went a little bit over the speed limit for a while. And then I slowed down a bit too much. Then raised the speed. Okay, and then I pretty much managed to keep it in control until that 30 mile an hour section, where I went up until like 37, 38, and I had to really bring the train down. So yeah, definitely that downhill section provided some challenges, and that will be the most interesting part of that journey. At the beginning, obviously, you got amazing views where you don't really have to worry about speed limits, because your train is usually too heavy for your locomotives to go above the speed limit. But then you have to use that little power that is not really able to propel that train to slow it down, which is even worse. So when it comes to challenges during the scenarios, I would expect, yeah, something in relation to having just enough to slightly too little power to the task that you need to do. Well, I wouldn't say too little, but yeah, you have, like, you are working on the margins here probably. And that will be the challenges. Keeping within the speed limit while going downhill or trying to climb uphill. So somewhat similar to Sandpatch Grade, where obviously the main attraction is that massive hill that you have to go through. But when you learn how to operate on that route, it really doesn't have too much to offer. I will definitely go through some more scenarios and maybe record some videos for a change, so that people can watch how to beat the different scenarios on Horseshoe. Might do that if there are people willing to watch it, but in general, if they will follow whatever we did today during this stream, they should be perfectly fine to go through this hill. I would really like to check this map in the winter, in the worst possible weather conditions, to see how this train would perform in particular, especially on that uphill section. But we can't do it today, unfortunately. I'm about to go to work soon and I need to get ready. So, well, thank you very much for joining me today, I guess. Let me just switch to proper screen. There we go. Right, so that was Horseshoe Curve. As you could see, for the price of around 25 British pounds, I believe that's roughly the price in UK at the moment. That would be probably around 30 euros and $30 or whatever, because those two are in quite similar prices. You get this. So the route itself, the map, I like it. There are some issues. We found some bugs on the signs and stuff. So definitely there are a few bits and pieces that could be polished a little bit better. But all in all, this route is pretty nice. I really enjoyed driving here. The speed limit signs, okay. That is one point that I noticed that definitely needs improvement. Although it's still better than original one, which had none. So I find it an improvement. Definitely much... Well, the route looks much more lively with all those trees and stuff. So it's not as empty as it used to be in Train Simulator. So that's another selling point. The route looks, in fact, absolutely beautiful. I think it might be slightly longer than the original one, because this one also includes that South Fork, where you can go on a different trip or into different direction, whatever. And also there is that massive siding somewhere around the tunnel. And I believe there are some scenarios that include switching on those. So definitely there is potential in that route if you know how to do scenarios yourself, because the ones provided with the game are pretty much copy-paste from what Dovetail usually does. So you either drive from one end to another, or from one siding to another siding, and that's it, you just drive. Or you do switching within one siding. That will take you about 40 minutes and you're done. But there are no complex scenarios. There are no new things about scenarios. So if you expected some miracles to happen, unfortunately not this time. But maybe in the future. Rolling stock, they got some new wagons. I didn't really pay attention to those, but yeah, the route creators claimed that they introduced some new rolling stock. When it comes to locomotives, yeah, again, apart from the interior that is modeled slightly different, it's pretty much the same stuff that you got on Sandpatch Grade, which is AC 4400 CW, or in that case it's called ES something blah blah blah, and you got GP38. So those are engines that you can use during the scenarios on this map. What else to be said? I don't really know. Like, for the price that they are selling these routes, I don't think I'm really happy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like something's missing to actually fill that gap and make it worth that £25. I think this route should be slightly cheaper to represent the real quality and value for money that it brings. The route itself is nice, and it definitely required a lot of work from the person who made it, but it lacks content, and that's the problem. That's just a route, and that's it. So that lack of content is definitely bringing the value down. Other than that, yeah, I think that was pretty interesting episode. It was nice to visit Train Sim World 2 again, and probably, if I won't decide to record any specific video about specific mission from this particular route, we might not see Train Sim World until release date of that Steam locomotive, which I'm also looking forward to see if Dovetail will eventually do something new. But other than that, yeah, I hope to catch you next time, which might happen somewhere before end of the week. We are definitely going to see each other on Saturday during our community stream in Railroads Online. However, I recommend turning those notifications after you subscribed on YouTube, or to press that follow button on Twitch to not miss my upcoming stream that may happen or may not somewhere sooner than Saturday, which I can't guarantee yet. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.